Known to most of the world as little more than a vacation paradise, Cabo San Lucas has a rich indigenous history upended by an all too familiar story of colonialism, war, and extinction. Yet despite its turbulent past, Cabo has endured and emerged into the powerhouse of hospitality that it is today. The third largest city in the Mexican state of Baja California Sur, Cabo is located at the southernmost tip of the Baja California peninsula. The native peoples of Cabo inhabited the land as far back as 13,000 years ago. The first known inhabitants were the Peninsula, who had a thriving culture sustained by their hunting and fishing prowess. Now, almost all of this info is based off the accounts of Spanish conquistadors who first encountered the Peninsula in 1534. And one of the many results of colonization was the death of the Peninsula language, with the exception of only 4 attested words and 10 place names, was essentially extinct by the year 1800. In 1697, the Baja Peninsula was established. The United States occupied Baja California during the Mexican-American War and eventually returned the region to Mexico as part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. 55% of the local population of over 202,000 hail from other Mexican states. The majority of non-Mexican inhabitants who call Cabo home are from the United States. Okay, history lesson over. Here's my day in Cabo San Lucas. Our chariot to Cabo was the Discovery Princess cruise ship. While I'll have a more in-depth video on the Discovery in a few weeks, there are 2 factors that are of note. The first is that on the original itinerary, the Discovery Princess was scheduled to arrive in Cabo at 12 p.m. with a departure of 8 p.m. However, this was revised several months prior to the cruise to an arrival time of 2 p.m. and departure of 9 p.m. While this change was made far enough in advance for personal plans to be adjusted, it did lead to a feeling of being rushed. The second factor that made our time feel even more finite is the fact that cruise ships cannot dock in Cabo, necessitating cruisers to disembark the ship via tenders that take them ashore. This is a boat. If you favor views to shade as I did, the ride under the unrelenting sun to shore is hot, cramped, slow, beautiful, fun, and serves to amp up the excitement for your adventures ahead. The moment your feet hit the pier, the hustle is real and immediate. Endless tourist traps that persist because, well, they work. Prices at the pier are jacked up, banking on travelers who want to get their souvenir shopping out of the way quickly, as well as those waiting to the last minute as they rush back to their cruise ship. Now, I am a magnet hewa, and so I did want to get my Cabo shopping done quickly. For this, I perused the Marina Mercado Arts and Crafts Market. I love the array of authentic to stereotypical goods that are targeted at foreigners. And some of the items are pretty hilarious, and I kinda wanted to buy some of these. Marina Mercado's prices are reasonable, save for the $2 American it'll cost you to use the restroom. Everyone speaks fluent English, which for someone whose brain just can't grasp another language, just as myself, is a relief and eased my stress. But I still felt like an ignorant American, not troubling myself to learn how to communicate in someone else's country. Oh. Got my magnets, and after witnessing the calls of the local alpha seal, it was time to make a decision. The original plan was to take a 15-minute Uber ride to Medano Beach. However, given the aforementioned 2:30 arrival, combined with a boat tour reservation we had at 4, and the fact that dusk in late November averages from about 5 to 5:30 p.m., we scrapped Medano. And while I didn't get a chance to experience it myself, I gotta give Medano Beach a shout out. Free to the public, the 2-mile or 3-ish kilometer beach curves around the eastern part of the downtown shore. Flanking Medano Beach are numerous resorts, water sport businesses, and restaurants. There's plenty of space for sunbathing, swimming, and just enjoying the stunning and picturesque views, including that of the Land's End Rock Formation, which we're about to get a hell of a lot closer to. The walk around the zigzagging marina is deceptively long and flanked by industry, commerce, art, and apparently more than one Senor Frogs. I don't get it. I know it's easy for tourists, but come on now. What I do get, or rather find fascinating, are the cultural similarities as well as the differences between the US and Mexico. Differences ranging from the pavement to construction methods, layout of the homes, and smooth-talking kids who contribute to the overall merchant bombardment of tourists. Now, my immediate sense of the solicitation here is that it was more overwhelming than what I'm used to back in the States. However, upon further reflection, it's only my language barrier that differentiates Cabo's curbside entrepreneurs from those of more familiar spots such as Times Square and the Vegas Strip. In reality, the similarities were far more abundant than the reverse. Finally, we arrived at Dock D, where after a short wait, we boarded this boat. Now, this was the part of the day I was the most excited about. Operated by El Jefe Tours and easily booked via Viator, this under $20 30 to 45 minute tour of Cabo's famed coast is the perfect and far more adventurous alternative to the more expensive yet longer catamaran excursion offered via Princess Cruises. My favorite sight on this tour was here, the Kisses window. Through this porthole or tunnel, the Pacific Ocean kisses the Sea of Cortez. I found this keyhole to be majestic and, nature at its finest and most awe-inspiring of all that we saw today. And while this spot has also been described as, well, the gateway between a woman's walking sticks, I promise that had almost nothing to do with this being my favorite spot on this ride. And finally, this tour culminates at chances are that when you think of Cabo San Lucas, if one image comes to mind, it's here, El Arco. I'm kind of hoping for a perfect sunset through the arch shot, but it's pretty impressive. It's pretty beautiful. Then we swung around to reveal Playa del Divorcio, or Divorce Beach. And it was here where staring at my phone screens for the majority of this somewhat choppy ride resulted in yours truly getting a little seasick and puking over the side of the boat ever so quickly. Unfortunately, I didn't get footage of this, but the fishes did get a little bit of Discovery Princess's buffet. So, you're welcome, fishies. But it was honestly worth blowing chunks to get the shots of these beautiful locales. Some travelers who are on this boat tour with us who came in on the Norwegian cruise ship were crunched for time, but our amazing and hilarious tour guides offered to return them to the far side of the marina where their tenders were waiting. We also opted to disembark here because our restaurant was closest to this part of the marina and it was time to eat. So what mouth-watering, amazing, local, can't get this back in the States authentic Mexican cuisine spot that I stuffed my chins with tonight, you ask? Romeo y Julieta. That's right. I came to Mexico for the Italian. Romeo y Julieta is located about a block from the marina, which will make wobbling my fat ass back to the boat that much easier. I immediately fell in love with Romeo y Julieta and thought of how special it would be for myself and anyone to share a bottle or two of wine with their special someone under these picturesque sunset vanilla skies above the romantic courtyard we were lucky enough to be seated in. Tonight I'm going to get the rigatoni ragu something that I'll put on the screen now because I forgot what I ordered. It was basically Italian sausage, ragu sauce, and rigatoni, and of course bread to start. And very excited because they have my Montepulciano di Abruzzo. That's good. The rigatoni is cooked perfectly. Not too smushy, not overly al dente. The sausage is good, cheese is good. The seasoning, the rosemary, the bergamot. I forgot, bergamot? Bergamot. The bergamot is perfect. This is a very good dish. I'm very happy. Paired with my montepulciano di Abruzzo. You're looking to do something a little different in Cabo. Get some Italian. Romeo e Juliet. I highly recommend. From the well-crafted and gorgeous aesthetic to the welcoming and attentive staff, and of course the delicious food and drink, Romeo e Julieta is a gem in the heart of downtown Cabo. If and when I return, I will dine here, likely multiple times. And I also want to hit up this wine bar that's next door. Alas, our time in Cabo was coming to an end. As we walked back to the pier, where a locally owned tender would usher us back to our floating hotel, I found myself gazing out into the glowing city of Cabo that was just coming to life on this young evening. While the merchants I met, tour I took, and food I ate filled both my belly and my soul, I know I did not truly experience Cabo, as my time here felt limited. A 6-hour microcosm for existence itself. Our time on this earth is oh so very limited, finite, short. We see what we can, and we have to be okay with never seeing it all, but that doesn't mean that we don't try. And I hope to one day return to CABO San Lucas, where I can embrace the local culture and visit the lands outside of the touristy areas. Until then, I'm content with my time at the tip of the Baja Peninsula, and I'm overjoyed to say, CABO San Lucas. Check. I thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. And if you want to see more content, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. And always remember, you're not living on borrowed time. This is your time.